Number 10. 2025 Honda Passport. The two-row Passport has always been the right-size alternative to the Pilot. Big car stance, small family simplicity. For 2025, industry chatter points to a meaningful update that leans harder into adventure without sacrificing daily comfort. Expect the trail sport philosophy to go deeper. Tougher tires, underbody protection, and suspension tuning that filters ruts without the float. Inside, Honda's latest infotainment stack and a cleaner digital cluster should lift the cabin, while the upright seating position and wide glass area keep it easy to place in tight parking lots and on narrow trailheads. Power will likely remain V6 based, but look for smarter gearing and small efficiency gains. A hybrid option has been rumored in the midterm, yet nothing is officially confirmed for the launch window. Why it matters? In a sea of swoopy crossovers, the Passport's square-shouldered packaging delivers honest space, towing confidence, and a calmer highway gait. Compared with the Toyota 4Runner, it's more civil on pavement. Compared with a Subaru Outback, it feels sturdier and more SUV than wagon. If your weekends include gravel roads, kayaks, snow gear, or mountain bikes, the Passport hits the lifestyle target without the penalties of a lifted truck. What's confirmed versus expected? Honda hasn't detailed the full 2025 spec sheet publicly as of now, so treat off-road hardware and hybrid talk as expected, not guaranteed. What is dependable, based on Honda's recent updates, is a more cohesive tech experience, incremental safety upgrades under the Honda Sensing umbrella, and an emphasis on usable capability over showroom gimmicks. For many buyers, that steady, grown-up approach is precisely why the Passport belongs on the must-see list. Number 9. 2025 Honda CR-V EFCEV. You've heard of EVs. You've heard of hybrids. The CR-V EFCEV blends the two in a way only Honda would attempt. A plug-in battery you can charge at home for short electric trips, plus a hydrogen fuel cell for fast refueling and long-distance driving. In practice, that means you can handle your daily commute and errands in EV mode. The experience is pure Honda. Quiet launch, seamless torque, and a cabin that's as rational as it is comfortable. The CR-V's packaging advantage: adult-friendly second row, generous cargo area, smart storage, survives intact. While the EFCEV powertrain adds near-silent operation around town and a calm, grown-up ride on the highway. Limited US availability focused on California, plug-in charging capability, and a fuel cell stack derived from Honda's next-gen technology. Expected: incremental improvements to range and total cost of running as the network matures. If you like being on the bleeding edge, this is the CR-V you'll want to at least test, even if you end up in the conventional hybrid. Number 8. 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid. If you want the most mature expression of Honda's two-motor hybrid system, the Accord is where it all comes together. The current generation's combined output sits in the low 200s with abundant low RPM torque. But the headline isn't a number, it's the feel. There's a calm surge from city speeds to freeway merges, less engine flare than older hybrids, and a long-legged efficiency that turns 500-mile weekends into easy work. The chassis tune is classic Honda adult: steady primary ride, tidy body control, and steering that's light but accurate. Inside, it's airy and adult-friendly, with superb outward visibility, a low cowl, and an interface that doesn't make you dig through 3 menus to change a basic setting. Honda continues to position the Accord Hybrid as the volume choice in higher trims, with robust driver assist coverage under Honda Sensing and Google built-in available on select models. Official EPA figures vary by wheel and trim, so cross-check those numbers when you spec your car. The big picture is unchanged. The Accord Hybrid remains the smart money midsize pick if you want understated design, real efficiency in mixed driving, and the kind of long-term dependability that keeps total cost of ownership low. Number 7. 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid. The Civic Hybrid returns to North America with the exact blend shoppers keep asking for: real efficiency, calm torque, and the classic Civic poise that makes every mile feel easy. Output sits around the 200 horsepower mark in combined system terms, but the headline is not a number. Smooth electric launch, generous low-speed shove, and smarter engine engagement turn stop and go traffic into quiet progress. On the highway, the two-motor setup settles into a relaxed rhythm that feels more grown-up than typical compact sedans. The cabin plays it clean and modern. Supportive seats, a low cowl for great visibility, an uncluttered dash, and straightforward controls that do not bury basics behind submenus. Compared with a Toyota Corolla hybrid, the Civic feels more natural in the way it blends engine and electric torque. And, compared with a Prius, it rides with a more conventional viewpoint, efficient without looking or feeling like a science project. Confirmed versus expected, Honda has announced the Civic Hybrid's return, with trims positioned as high-value choices above the mainstream gas models. Exact output and EPA numbers depend on market and wheel package, so check the final window sticker when you spec yours. Either way, the equation is simple. If you want Civic dynamics with much better real-world economy, the hybrid is the smart money. Number 6, 2025 Honda Prologue. Honda's first modern long-range EV for North America doesn't try to dazzle with party tricks. It aims to feel familiar on day 1, and quietly better by week 2. That means straightforward packaging, calm ride quality, and tech that respects your time. Range lands in the ballpark that makes a multi-state weekend possible, and DC fast charging lets you add meaningful miles over a coffee, not a full meal. Inside, the Google built-in interface is snappy and familiar. Voice control actually works for the stuff you use, and the physical controls that matter remain physical. The seating position is classic Honda crossover. Upright, supportive, and easy to climb in and out. The dual motor setup brings sure-footed traction in bad weather and an easy surge when gaps open, while the single motor configuration keeps cost down without feeling slow in the real world. Ownership reality matters. Home level 2 charging turns every night into a full tank. Public charging has a learning curve but gets easier, and software updates can actually improve your car over time. Confirmed versus expected. Launch timing and core specs are public, with range estimates and charge rates that put it squarely in the mainstream EV pack. Exact trim by market varies, and incentives can meaningfully change the value equation, so check local programs before you sign. The bottom line is simple. The Prologue is for buyers who want an EV that behaves like a well-sorted Honda crossover first and a technology statement second. Number 5, 2026 Honda Prelude. The name alone lights up a certain part of the enthusiast brain, and Honda knows it. Sneaked as a sleek hybrid coupe concept and shown again to big crowds, the Prelude points to a driver's car that does not apologize for efficiency. Read that again. Not an EV, not a big horsepower turbo monster, but a modern hybrid that uses electric assistance to add response, not just save fuel. It is a very Honda answer to a very 2026 question. How do you build a coupe that feels special when the world is crossovers without making the ownership pain too high? Expect power around the hot hatch zone, a chassis tuned for accuracy over theatrics, and a cabin that borrows the Civic's ergonomic clarity, but dresses it with more drama. The shape telegraphs a low hood, a long wheelbase, and clean surfacing that will age well if Honda resists the urge to add fake vents. Crucially, the hybrid element should help with the everyday pieces that often kill the sports car dream. Stop and go commute fatigue, fuel bills, and the way a loud powertrain wears thin after month 3. Electric assist can fill low RPM torquey holes, let the engine stay in its sweet spot more often, and keep noise levels down when you are just cruising. Production timing and power figures are still to be finalized, and regional availability will be announced closer to launch. If North America gets it early, the Prelude could become the most attainable way to get a new Honda coupe in years. Who is it for? Drivers who want a beautiful object you can enjoy at 6/10 on a back road and still be happy to live with on a Tuesday. That balance, the rare ability to feel special without demanding sacrifice, is what could make the Prelude the sweetheart of the lineup. From efficient commuters to a born-again coupe, Honda's 2025 and 2026 slate is shaping up with real variety. Next, we climb into the family heavy hitters and the future-facing flagships that could redefine what a Honda looks and feels like. Stick around as the countdown gets seriously interesting. Now, number 4, 2026 Honda Odyssey. If you judge a family vehicle by how peacefully it handles real life, snack time, sleep time, soccer runs, road trips, the Odyssey has long been the quiet MVP, and it's due for a big next act. With Toyota's Sienna going all hybrid and Chrysler's Pacifica owning the plug-in niche, the 2026 Odyssey is poised to answer with the most Honda solution possible. Packaging perfection, cabin calm, and a powertrain strategy that cuts fuel stops without killing the van's effortless stride. Expect hybridization to be front and center, either a 2-motor, system tuned for smooth launches and suburban serenity, or a clever plug-in variant that gives you an honest electric school run before the engine ever wakes up. The goal is simple, the same easygoing, ultra-usable minivan you already know, now with less noise, less thirst, and, even better, stop-and-go manners. Inside is where the Odyssey has historically separated itself, and that advantage should widen. Think sliding, folding, and reconfigurable seating that adjusts to your real week. 2 car seats and a lanky teenager on Monday, an IKEA run on Thursday, grandparents in row 2 on Sunday. Expect lower floor height for easier loading, huge door apertures, and storage that actually fits a family's mess. Water bottles, tablets, switch controllers, diaper bags. Cabin tech will skew helpful over gimmicky. A big, clear infotainment screen with quick access to kids' media controls. Cabin intercom so you don't have to shout. Camera views to keep an eye on row 3. And enough USB-C ports that nobody runs out of battery as an excuse. The ride handling brief will stay true to the Odyssey's character. Supple over broken pavement, quiet on the interstate, composed in crosswinds, while steering remains light and intuitive for parents who value a stress-free daily drive more than anything else. Why it matters. The minivan is still the best tool for the job if your job is family life. And a hybrid Odyssey would erase the last psychological barrier for buyers who've drifted to SUVs for style, not substance. Against a Sienna, the Honda should feel more responsive in throttle and steering, while matching or exceeding real-world MPG, thanks to its maturing hybrid playbook. Against a Pacifica PHEV, a Honda plug-in could bring simpler software and Honda-grade reliability to the category, even if the Chrysler keeps the edge on pure EV miles. Either way, the next Odyssey aims to be the vehicle that lowers your blood pressure by being easy. Confirmed versus expected. Honda hasn't published final specs. Trims, or timing beyond product cadence hints and test mule sightings. Treat hybrid and packaging specifics as expected. What's all but guaranteed is a major infotainment and driver assist update under the Honda Sensing banner. Improved crash structure, and a renewed focus on NVH so you can hold a conversation at 70 mph without raising your voice. If you're minivan curious but not quite ready to commit, put the 2026 Odyssey on your watch list. You may find yourself wondering why you ever tried to make a 3-row SUV do a minivan's job. Number 3, 2025-2026 Honda Pilot. 3 rows, real space for adults, and a driving experience that still feels like a Honda. This is the Pilot's brief, and the current generation already nails the fundamentals. For 2025, look for feature alignment and quiet refinements rather than reinvention. Smarter infotainment across trims, incremental safety upgrades, and a deeper trail sport story for families who actually see snow, mud, and washboard roads on weekends. The Pilot's ace remains its iVTM4 torque vectoring all-wheel drive, which can send meaningful torque rearward and side to side to keep you moving where simpler systems spin and pray. Add multiple drive modes for snow, trail, tow, and economy, and you get a large family vehicle that doesn't flinch when the weather turns ugly or when the campsite is 3 miles past the pavement. Power is currently a strong. In trail sport form, expect genuine upgrades that matter off pavement. Extra underbody protection, recovery points, tires with real bite, and suspension tuning that filters out chop without losing control. The goal isn't rock-crawling heroics, it's getting the family to the trailhead and back with confidence and comfort. Ownership details matter in a 3-row, and the Pilot typically makes them easy. Wide opening rear doors for child seat gymnastics, plenty of charging ports across rows, straightforward latch access, and climate control that reaches the back without drama. Towing capacity in class-typical ranges gives you the confidence to pull a pair of jet skis or a small camper without feeling like you're at the edge of the vehicle's capability. If a hybrid arrives, expect tow ratings to be carefully tuned so families don't have to choose between efficiency and weekend toys. Confirmed versus expected. 2025 brings software and equipment polish rather than a hardware overhaul, while Trail Sport continues as the honest capability trim, not just a decal pack. A hybrid variant for 2026 remains strongly rumored, but not confirmed. Treat any power and MPG figures you see floating around as placeholders until Honda publishes them. The through line doesn't change. The Pilot is the no drama. Maximum usability choice if you need true 3-row space that still drives like a Honda, Not a bus, we've covered the core hybrids. The first modern Honda EV for North America, the return of a beloved coupe nameplate, and the family heavy hitters. Now we step into two models that speak directly to how North American buyers actually live. One for hauling gear and building weekends, one for charting Honda's next EV era. They sit at the top for a reason. Number 2. 2025 29X Honda Ridgeline. If your weekends look like roof racks, muddy boots, and a cooler in the bed, but your weekdays demand quiet rides, easy parking, and zero drama, the Ridgeline remains the most rational truck in America. It's a pickup that drives like a well-sorted crossover, thanks to its unibody construction. Yet it still hauls, tows, and works without beating you up. For 2025 and into 2026, expect Honda to double down on that dual life brief. A calmer cabin, smarter tech, and more honest capability where it matters. The Trail Sport treatment already proved Honda can add real bite without turning the truck into a chore. The next iteration should refine that formula. Rather than chase rock-crawling headlines most owners will never need. What sets the Ridgeline apart isn't a single spec, it's the system. IVTM4 torque vectoring all-wheel drive can push meaningful torque to the rear and across the axle, so it moves you forward where simple part-time systems just spin. The bed is genuinely useful. The dual-action tailgate drops or swings to the side, and the in-bed trunk locks, drains, and swallows gear you don't want exposed. On pavement, the ride feels composed over expansion joints and broken asphalt in a way body-on-frame rivals rarely match. Steering is predictable, body motions are tidy, and cabin noise is low enough that a long interstate haul feels like a family SUV, not a cargo rig. Trail Sport sharpened the off-pavement edge with all-terrain rubber, unique tuning, and underbody attention. The expected next steps are sensible. A bit more ground clearance, slightly beefier protection in the right places, and drive mode logic that keeps traction smart and progress smooth. Hybrid rumors keep swirling, and they make sense. A two-motor system would add the kind of low RPM shove that helps in traffic and on trails while trimming fuel stops in city use. But until Honda publishes numbers, treat hybrid as expected, not confirmed. The current V6 remains a model of smoothness and predictability, and paired with a smart automatic, it keeps the Ridgeline's effortless character intact. Who it's for? People who actually use their trucks, contractors who value secure storage, and an easy daily drive, families who need to tow toys on summer weekends, and adventure types who want to reach trailheads without white-knuckle fatigue on the highway. Compared with a Toyota Tacoma or Ford Ranger, the Ridgeline trades ladder frame bravado for liveability, quieter, more composed, and easier to place in tight suburbs. Compared with a Ford Maverick or Hyundai Santa Cruz, it's bigger, steadier at speed, and more road trip ready. Towing remains in the class-typical light-duty zone and is best used with an eye on payload. But the Ridgeline's confidence comes from balance. Not one maxed-out stat, confirmed versus expected. The hardware and packaging advantages are real and on sale today. For 2025-2026, look for interior tech alignment with Honda's latest software, a cleaner digital cluster, and continued emphasis on Honda sensing safety. Trail Sport should remain the honest capability trim, rather than a decal pack. Hybrid? Sensible, rumored, and strategically likely, but unannounced. So don't buy on the promise of future horsepower. The point of the Ridgeline isn't to win spec sheets. It's to make your life easier Monday to Sunday without asking you to drive a compromise. We close with the Honda that could reset expectations altogether. The clean sheet EV that tells us how Honda plans to build fast charging, low drag, software-defined cars for the next decade. Number 1. 2026 Honda Zero Series Saloon. Honda's next era has a name and a philosophy: thin, light, and wise. The Zero Series Saloon previews a production EV for North America that flips the script on heavy, over-styled battery cars. Picture a low-slung, aero-clean four-door with a skateboard battery pack packaged to lower the hip point and the center of gravity. New e-axle drive units for crisp response, and software that shapes the experience as much as hardware. The promise isn't just range, it's efficiency you can feel, calmer wind noise, easy freeway glide, and a cabin that reads as modern without becoming a science project. Inside, the HMI moves away from clutter toward intent. Fewer steps to do common things, smarter voice, and screens that serve rather than shout. OTA updates keep the car improving, while a new generation of Honda sensing extends situational awareness and driver assistance calmly, not theatrically. The design language is purposeful: long wheelbase, short overhangs, and clean surfacing that doesn't need fake vents to look quick. Honda talks about charging that shortens the coffee to 80% time versus today's norm, and thermal strategies that protect performance across seasons. But final figures will land closer to launch. Who it's for: buyers who want an EV that feels engineered first and branded second. If a Tesla Model 3's strengths appeal, but its ride firmness or interface quirks don't, if an Ioniq 6's aeroskill is admirable, but the vibe feels too concept car for your driveway, the 0 Series aims to split the difference. Elegant, quiet, efficient, and simple to live with. This isn't just Honda catching up. It's Honda doing Honda. Human-centered, durable, and quietly clever. Confirmed versus expected. Honda has publicly committed to a 2026 North American debut for the first 0 Series production model, with the saloon concept as the North Star. Dedicated EV architecture, new generation e-axles, a focus on aero efficiency, and a simplified interface are part of the brief. Battery size, exact range, peak charge rates, and trims remain to be announced. Treat the aesthetic and philosophy as locked, the numbers as pending. The headline is bigger than a spec. Honda is building a cleaner, lighter, and more intentional EV, and it's coming to the markets that will use it hardest.